Hi there, folks. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and I'm pleased that you joined us this morning on Doc Talk. We're going to be talking about transporting cattle, everything from loading and unloading to things that could happen during the transport period. Should be a great show, and I'm glad that you joined us.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff, Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Doc Talk, brought to you by Kansas Pork Association, assisting producers and informing consumers.
Folks, welcome to Doc Talk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and today I don't have a guest, but we'll be talking about something that's a passion of mine and something that occurs on a day-to-day basis here in the beef industry, and that's transporting our cattle. And the first thing that when we start to talk about transporting cattle is to pick out the ones that are fit for transport. And more of an issue is making sure that we don't ship the wrong ones than it is making sure that we ship the right ones. So some of the things that I have a list here that we'll go through today, and we'll have some illustrations of how these occur or things. But the first thing is we want to make sure that we don't ship a sick, injured, or weak or fatigued animal. So we're going to look at the cattle. Basically, if they're sick or injured, these animals that don't look fit or don't look like they could complete the ride, these are animals we want to make sure that we don't put on the trailer to ship to town or ship to sale barn or ship anywhere for that. The next one is one that's kind of a no-brainer, but it bears reminding is non-ambulatory cattle. And again, shipping non-ambulatory cattle is not only something that's an issue that we want to make sure we don't put those animals on the truck, but can be a liability issue and an issue with the law. Non-ambulatory cattle, when they are moved, they cannot be drugged. They cannot be lifted with chains. These animals have to be moved with a sled or the bucket of a loader. So these types of animals definitely cannot be transported, and any animal that looks like it may go down during transport shouldn't be put on there. Animals that are blind, when they have pink eye or cattle that have problems seeing, these animals need special accommodations. We definitely don't want to be putting them on a load with cattle that can see because they don't know their way around. So special accommodations for those types of animals. And then we get into the kind of pregnancy, newborn calf type status. And so newborn calves within the first 48 hours, cows that are projected to calve or in the last 10% time of their gestation period, these animals shouldn't be placed on a truck because the stress could trigger parturition. The animal could go into calving on the truck, and we don't want that to happen. Another one that we want to make sure of is that females that have just given birth or that are fatigued, these animals can go into a stress type situation, they can go into tremors, and they can go down on the truck. And then two other classes of animals, definitely don't want to ship any animal that's prolapsed or uterus. These are extremely heavy, and during transport these can depart from the body, and when they do, the animals then hemorrhage. So don't ship those uterine prolapses in the truck. And then the last one is just general animals in general poor animal welfare condition. And the best way to judge that is through body condition score, whether it's a beef cow or a dairy cow. We want to make sure that we aren't shipping those animals that are too thin and too fatigued. When we come back from the break, we're going to continue our discussion, and we're going to move to the loadout and unloading area. You're watching Doc Talk. We're glad that you joined us, and we'll be back in a minute.
Tallgrass Commodities offers producers bulk commodities at a reasonable price with reliable service throughout the whole Midwest. To find out more about Tallgrass Commodities, visit tallgrass.us or call 785-494-8484. Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine is a leader in food animal research and education. Our researchers are constantly expanding the knowledge of animal health and food safety. Through the Veterinary Health Center and the Kansas State Veterinary Diagnostic Lab, we provide practical services for animal producers. Home of the Beef Cattle Institute, the college is committed to animal welfare training and research. The Kansas State University College of Veterinary Medicine, knowledge and service for the future of animal production.
This hog is head over hoof for meal made from U.S. soybeans. Now, one hog isn't that impressive, but suppose we add another, and another, and another. Before long, you've got billions of hungry customers around the world all clamoring for the same thing. Our soybeans. Learn more about the billion-dollar appetite of animal agriculture at BeyondTheElevator.com. Brought to you by America's soybean farmers and their checkoff.
This tip brought to you by Baytril 100 Enrofloxacin Injectable, now approved for use in controlling BRD in high-risk cattle. Baytril 100, right the first time, whether it's controlling BRD in high-risk cattle or treating BRD.
Hi there, it's Dr. Dan with an On the Farm tip. Today we're going to talk about receiving pen management for those high-risk calves. Nothing aggravates me more than to have a load of calves come into a feeding facility and our receiving pen is not prepared. What I'm talking about with preparation of that pen, first of all, is cattle comfort and a place to lay down. If there's mud in the pen, we want to make sure with the box blade one lap, give those cattle a place to lay down, or supply bedding. Another thing, a tip that we need to make sure we provide ample water supply and make sure that we have good long stem hay in the bunk for those calves. That's your On the Farm tip. I'm Dr. Dan and thanks for joining us.
In the last 3 years, we've changed some things in our AI protocol, one of which was the use of multi-min. We've seen a significant increase in our AI pregnancy rate. The cost of an embryo program is significant, and we feel that if we were able to even get one more pregnancy out of a cow, that would pay for the whole cost of the whole bottle of multi-min right there.
Doc Talk, brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook, or visit us online at sftmeats.com.
Hey there folks, welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, and I'm glad that you joined us today. And I don't have a guest as I usually do, and today I'm going to cover a topic on my own. We're talking about transporting cattle, and it's something that's a very important topic in our country. It's important globally because cattle are transported numerous places day to day, whether we're shipping them from the ranch to the feedlot or ranch to the auction market to the feedlot or from the feedlot to the slaughter facility. Animals are transported short, medium, and long distances multiple times during their life during all segments of our industry. And they say that 50% of the stress at transport occurs at the time of loading. So whatever we can do to reduce that stress at the time of loading or unloading is vitally important to the stress level of the calf throughout the entire transport process. So the first thing that I look at is a combination to get to low stress cattle handling. And there's two things that are major stepping stones or things that I look at. And the first one is facilities. And do we have proper facilities for the movement of cattle, whether it's the lead-up alley, whether it's the crowding tub or the bud box, and then the loading chute. All these things need to be inspected. And if you go to the Beef Quality Assurance, and they have a transportation beef quality assurance at www.bqa.com, you can see different things for inspection of facilities. But the first thing I'll do with the inspection of a facility is I'll just walk backwards through it. I'll jump up in the loading chute and I'm going to walk down that loading chute and I'm going to inspect that loading chute for holes or cracks or crevices. I'm also going to make sure that we have proper footing as we're coming down. Sometimes if we have a wooden facility, boards get broken. If we have a metal facility, we can get pieces of metal that have rusted and make sure that we don't have places that are protruding to make sure that we don't have animals that are injuring their hooves or stepping through the facility and degloving coming out, or slipping and falling. All these things are something we need to understand. The next one is the landing area, or the area where the cattle first come out, and making sure that we have that area cleaned out, we don't have manure buildup, that we have the manure moved out so it's not slick. I'll then look at, are we using a bud box facility or a Temple Grandin type tub facility. Both facilities work fine. We just need to make sure that these facilities have working gates and that they're properly set up. And then lastly, I'll look at the lead-up alley. One of the things when you back up to the loadout chute, and if you're going to move a lot of cattle through a loadout chute, is we'll put flexible doors that can move to where the person that's backing up backs up the trailer. One of the things that I see as a problem is when people back up to a loadout chute and we don't back up square. Not only does it cause cattle to balk when they get to the top of the chute or when we're unloading, but cattle can catch their shoulders on there and cause injury and lameness. So inspection of facilities, making sure we have the ability to back up square to the facility are all things that what we want to do. When we come back from the break, we're going to move on to the trailer. We're going to do some trailer inspection and talk about that. You're watching Doc Talk, and we're really glad that you joined us.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Dr. Dan here. Whether I'm driving up and down the roads covering the state of Kansas or I'm getting between Riley and Manhattan for my job, I'm driving a Ford truck. I'd like you to come out and visit my friends here at Dick Edwards Ford. They have a truck that'll suit your needs, whether you're looking for power with a Power Stroke diesel, or if you're looking for fuel efficiency with the new EcoBoost engine, they got a truck that's just right for you. They're located 2 miles east of the Town Center Mall in Manhattan, Kansas, and they'll bend over backwards to help you. And I'll see you down the road.
From Kansas State University, this is Agriculture Today. K-State recently hosted an informational exchange between the university's grain scientists and a group from Pakistan. The goal to discover answers to a rapidly expanding insect problem in stored grain and stored food products. It's called the Capra beetle, as K-State's Bhadraraju Subramaniam explains.
This is a devastating pest of all grains. The adults do not feed, but the larvae are package penetrators. It's a pest that one needs to be careful about, because in the absence of food, the pest can survive for about 7 years. It has a stage called diapausing stage. So when the food is available, then they start growing.
This is K-State Research and Extension.
Purple Wave is a proud supporter of the Kansas FFA through the Bid for Blue program. Purple Wave donates a portion of the proceeds earned on certain ag assets to the Kansas FFA. Winning bidders can designate a Kansas chapter to receive the donation. To date, Purple Wave is proud to have donated over $10,000. Visit purplewave.com to learn more and to place bids on Bid for Blue assets. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Soil is the life of a farm, and for 25 years, SureCrop Liquid Crop Nutrition has helped growers produce abundant quality crops while preserving and improving the soils they steward. SureCrop offers complete soil and plant analysis with cropping recommendations, delivery direct to your on-farm storage, and quality crop nutrition custom blended for your field. Choose SureCrop for the assurance of excellence for your soil. Call today or visit their website for more information. Doc Talk, brought to you by Brown Chevrolet Buick. In Wamego, just a short drive down the yellow brick road.
Hi there, folks, and welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University. And I'm flying this thing solo today, as it'd be different than what you tune in most of the time and see me with a guest. And it's not that I think that nobody else can handle this subject. It's just that it's one of those that I am directly involved with, and one of those that lends itself to spending a little time with y'all today and talking about this. But we're talking about transporting cattle, and when we talk about transportation of cattle, I think everybody understands how cattle are shipped not only around the country but now globally. When we have cattle that are being shipped, live animal exports, and also cattle across state lines within the United States. And not only is it important that these animals be shipped safely, but it's important that we do it to improve health as well. So when a lot of cattle, though, are shipped locally, and I can remember working at my dad and grandfather's veterinary clinic, and going back to the early 70s and thinking about the way that we have changed in transportation of cattle locally. I can still remember when we would just place the stock racks on the pickup and put a 2,000-pound bull in there and drive him to the clinic and you took off the wooden back and beat him down the loading chute to unload bulls. And so when you'd see Lee Routh or people from back home driving down the road and their truck is shaking and moving like that, and they'd have a bull or a cow or something in there, and now we have these long goosenecks, and we have these 3/4-ton pickups that can pull about anything. So we've really changed and progressed in the equipment that we have to move cattle with. But when we inspect a trailer, the number one thing first thing you want to inspect is you want to get up in the trailer and you want to look at the flooring. And we want to make sure that we have the entire floor covered, no holes where the animal could have a protruding limb. And then the other one is look at boards, or if it's metal, we'll look for rust. But if it's a wooden floor with planks and something in there, we want to make sure that all the boards are square, that they're tight, and that we don't have loose boards or the possibility for a problem there. Another thing that's important, of course, when we're moving is that we have doors that function properly. And sometimes this is for animal safety, but a lot of time this is for human safety as well. And making sure that you're back away from those doors when you shut these doors and having the proper loading facility will really improve human safety when loading, and it improves cattle safety when transporting. Kick the tires, make sure we got tire pressure, got good tires on these trailers, axles and bearings, all these need to be checked. And then we want to make sure that we're going to have proper ventilation. Ventilation during shipping is what helps prevent shipping stress. So we want to have a properly ventilated trailer so that we make sure that we don't have these animals in a system that they don't have good ventilation and prevent respiratory disease. And the last one is footing. Whether you have footing in that trailer that is the rubber footing, whether you have metal footing, make sure that you have proper footing in the trailer and footing that won't injure the cattle. Sometimes the best intentions have unintended consequences. But checking footing, when we come back, we're going to talk about how to load those animals on the trailer, and we're going to wrap up the show. Thanks for watching.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
Valleyvet.com, Valleyvet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
With BRD, every second counts. And when you get new high-risk cattle, you've got a choice to make. You can either take your chances and wait and see what happens, or you can take charge of BRD. Right from the start, treat bacteria up front with Batra 100 Enrofloxacin injectable, now approved by the FDA for BRD metaphylaxis in high-risk cattle. Ask your veterinarian about Batra 100 and make it your go-to drug to control BRD in high-risk cattle or for treatment of BRD. Batra 100, right the first time.
And now here's another gardening tip with Dave Jackson.
The secret to a dark, green, lush, healthy lawn begins with testing your soil for proper pH and fertility, planting high-quality, weed-free seed, and applying the correct fertilizers and herbicides at the proper time. Let Jackson's and Fertilome products help you succeed with your lawn.
Our Tri-Power Turf Type Fescue is 100% weed-free and on sale now. Stop in for answers to all your lawn questions and get a great deal on our Tri-Power and new lawn starter.
Welcome to the Topeka Room of the Shawnee County Public Library. This room is dedicated to local history, local authors, Kansas history, and is just a treasure trove of information and good literature. I'm Deb Beisel, your co-host for Around Kansas, and I'm very proud to be part of this room in many ways. I want to point out a few of the works that I have here. One of them is The Civil War in Kansas, which just came out last year, and that's an overview of the 10 years of turmoil that divided Kansas and Missouri. The Day Dixie Died, written with Tom Goodrich, is the aftermath of the Civil War in the South, and it's a pretty depressing book, honestly, but it's very good history and very little-known history. Likewise, The Darkest Dawn was the aftermath and the impact of the Lincoln assassination on the country. It's a very important book. I'm real pleased to have been part of that. Kansas Forts and Bases just came out earlier this year, and my co-author was my good friend Michelle Martin. And that's not just how big these bases were or how long they lasted. It's the stories of the people who served there and continue to serve today. So please come to visit the library, stop in the Topeka Room, pick up one of these, or you may find those at any of your local book outlets or online, of course. And you can find me on Facebook. I'd be happy to visit with you some more.
At At Wildcat Feeds, the only feed that matters is yours. We'll help you manage your feed costs with our custom blended nutrition. For more information, visit us online at wildcatfeeds.com and call us today for our current mineral specials.
Tar Waters has what you need for all seasons for around the farm and home. Working, hunting, growing, feeding, snow removal, even fun for the kids. And a service department with experienced techs to help keep your equipment in top running condition. Tar Waters has a huge selection and the best prices. Tar Water Farm and Home, family owned and operated since 1978. They have what you need. Doc Talk, brought to you by Roy Fry Western Lifestyles, dressing Northeast Kansas their Western best for over 57 years.
Hi there, folks. Welcome back to Doc Talk. Dr. Dan Thompson here from the College of Veterinary Medicine at Kansas State University, where I'm a professor, and I'm the Jones Professor of Production Medicine and Epidemiology. And we're talking about transporting cattle, and it's a topic that's important to me. It's important to a lot of people, and it's especially important to the cattle that we're moving across this country, locally, from farm to farm, from pasture to pasture, and understanding things you need to do when you load these cattle and unload them. But we've gone over picking the right animals. We've looked at the loadout facility. We've looked at the trailer. Now we're going to talk about putting those animals on the trailer. One of the things when you put animals on the trailer is you want to make sure you don't overload the trailer. And there's two reasons for that. One is you got to make sure that you put the proper weight on the trailer that your trailer and truck can handle. Overloading can create accidents, and it can have some human safety implications. The other reason why we don't want to overload the trailer is because we don't want to wind up with animals getting hurt. And so when we have animals too tight, we can increase bruising, we can increase injuries, bumping, not intentionally, but just happens because animals are in close proximity and trying to stay up on the trailer. Another thing that's important is that we don't mix animals of small and bigger sizes. And one of the reasons for this is because if we have animals on the truck that are small with larger animals, they can go down underneath the larger animals and get trampled. So putting them in, sorting them before you put them on the truck, putting them in different compartments so that they stay away from each other is vitally important to the health and safety of the animals being transported. Market bulls and market cows, or cull bulls and cull cows, are shipped frequently. And when we load those animals, whether it's short hauls or long hauls, we want to make sure that we don't mix bulls and cows in the same compartments because of riding activity that can occur. And what will happen is that we can have cows being hurt from riding. Bulls can also be hurt during times of riding and slipping on the trailers. When you're driving down the road and you're loaded with animals, I know this makes perfect sense to people that have done it, but we don't want to start or stop suddenly. Easing into taking off from a stop sign or shutting down earlier to make sure that the animals don't lose their footing during transport is important. And another thing is making sure that you match the health and well-being of the cattle with the distance of the haul. The younger and the more fit the animal is, the longer haul it can withstand up to a point. So the yearling cattle and things to that nature, all this can be judged by shrink, which is based on the amount of weight loss during transport. And the last two things, understand heat stress and cold stress. Heat stress is more of an issue for cattle than cold stress is, but if we are looking at times of heat stress, we want to make sure that we keep the cattle rolling down the road, don't stop and let them overheat, and maybe we need to ship them at night. We sure appreciate you watching Doc Talk. I hope you had a great show today. And remember, we always recommend that you work with a local veterinarian. And if you want to find out more about what I do here at Kansas State University, you can find us on the web at www.vet.ksu.edu. Thanks for watching Doc Talk. I'm Dr. Dan Thompson from the College of Veterinary Medicine, and I'll see you down the road.
Closed captioning brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. The Soybean Checkoff Progress, powered by Kansas farmers.